All right, time for another episode of Unconventional Wisdom, and today we're talking to the legendary one of the greatest basketball players from the DC region, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play in the NBA. He is a DMV native. We're talking about the one and only Adrian Dantley. Adrian, appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us this morning. Appreciate your time. Yeah, good to see you. Good to talk to you. So let's talk about current. Let's keep it current. What are you doing right now? Because when I saw you, I saw you on the basketball court, not playing basketball, but you're officiating games.
Yeah, well, I saw you last week. You did a great job coaching your son's team.
Trying,
I've
trying.
been just doing that. I
Uh
love
huh.
seeing the young kids and officiating, just get some exercise,
Right.
stay in shape. But I really enjoy officiating the
Mm-hmm.
kids around your son's age,
Yeah.
10, 11, 12,
Right.
13 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
But I referee all ages,
Mm-hmm.
70 and over.
Oh, really? What's your favorite group to referee? Your favorite group?
I would say the 10 to 13
Oh,
years
is that
old.
why so? Because they don't get to talk back.
Well, I can kind of look at them and
Uh huh.
say this kid might be pretty good.
Okay.
I'm gonna look for him maybe 3 or 4 years from
Gotcha.
now. So I pretty much know all the young kids in the area.
Uh huh.
So when I do see them in high school, it doesn't surprise me because I
Right.
remember
Gotcha.
what they
Okay.
played when they was young.
All right. What about the worst group to officiate?
Uh,
The ones that give you the hardest time.
only ones that give me a hard time a couple times, maybe the parents, but because I
Oh.
play, they don't give me a hard time.
They leave it because you're a legend. They're like, we're not gonna mess with you.
Sometimes I have some parents give me a rough time, but overall, I enjoy
Right.
officiating all of that.
All right. How'd you get into it? Did you just say, okay, I'm done with basketball, so now I got to find something else to do, or was it? I know you said it was your passion, but how did you actually get into it?
I was basically in the gym one day.
Uh
The guy said, "You want to referee?" And I said,
huh.
"Yeah, I think I might want to do that because I enjoy, seeing guys
Mm-hmm.
play, girls play, older people play,
Right.
adults try to play."
Like me.
So that's how I got into it.
Got you. Okay. All right. So let's go backwards now. Let's go backwards to your Turkey Thicket days. Turkey Thicket is a legendary basketball court or area here in the D.C. area. Your love for basketball it started before Turkey Thicket. I'm assuming.
Well, when I was growing up, if you were a good basketball player, you had to go through Turkey Thicket.
Uh huh.
So I know all about it. When I was young, I went to all the playgrounds in the whole area, Banneker,
Uh huh.
Cadoza, Turkey Thicket, St. Anne's,
Right.
Luzon. So
Right.
anybody who played basketball in the area, they knew where to go to play basketball to try to, make your skills a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
To
All
be
right.
a better player, you had to go to the best
To
playground.
the areas and the legendary areas. So look, so when you're playing at Turkey Thicket versus playing in high school and all that stuff, which one is tougher?
Well, playground's a lot tougher.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh well, because you got to call your own fouls and then all that kind of stuff.
Depends on where you might go. But,
Right.
me, I was from the
Uh huh.
city,
Yeah.
but I played at DeMatha.
Okay.
So when I was growing up
Mm-hmm.
playing at DeMatha, I was all American, but all
Yeah.
the guys in the city, they really didn't think I was that good.
Okay. Because you were at DeMatha. Because you were at
Because,
at this it was a private
I'm from
school.
the suburbs,
Right. You're yeah.
but I play in the city.
Uh huh.
Only thing about it, most of the guys at DeMatha were from the city.
Okay.
So, but you always had your few that didn't think that, the Catholic school guys weren't that good, even though we lived in the city.
Right. So how'd you proved them wrong? Obviously. How hard was that? How big of a challenge was that for you? Because again, they knew where you were from, but you weren't playing. You're in DeMatha in the burbs.
It wasn't difficult at all. Most of the guys that played against, I outplayed them.
Oh, is that right? Now,
But they still thought they were better than me.
really,
Yeah.
really. Do you remember any of the other ones that that gave you the hardest time? Like did Austin Carr give you a hard time? Any of those guys give you a hard time? On the basketball court, I'm talking about.
Austin Carr was like 6 years older than me.
Okay.
I really didn't play against him that many times.
Uh huh.
Maybe a couple times at Luzon.
Uh huh.
But all the other players, all the great players in the areas I played against.
Mm-hmm.
So Austin was definitely a legend when I was in high school.
Uh huh.
That's what everybody did on Saturday. He was one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Really?
Yeah, it's just that he didn't have that success in the NBA.
Right.
But in college, he was averaging like 35 a game.
Okay.
They had a 3-point shot back then with him and Pete Maravich. So
Uh-huh.
no telling what they might have
Right. Okay. So let's go forward past DeMatha. All right. So you end up in college. I'm sure the recruiting process is a lot different than it is right now. How was it back then, the recruiting process? Because you were one of the top players.
Well, back then,
How'd you decide to go to that school? And yeah.
well, when I was being recruited,
Mm-hmm.
when I was at the Mather,
Mm-hmm.
it was a known fact that I was supposed to go to North Carolina.
Okay.
Because I went to there.
You're supposed to be a Tar Heel.
Yeah, I was supposed to be a Tar Heel.
Okay.
It was all done.
Okay.
But and then there were a few other schools, Bobby Knight, Indiana.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking about going there, and Lefty,
Uh-huh.
Maryland.
Okay.
Those were the three schools. Notre Dame was not in the picture. Notre Dame was like 6-24.
Okay.
The last 2 years, so I wasn't really interested in Notre Dame, even though you would get great exposure
Right.
if you attended Notre Dame because they was always on TV, so that always
Right.
intrigued me a little bit.
Even though they were terrible, they were always on TV.
They were always on,
Okay.
just like football.
Right. They're TV friendly. Yeah. So how did you get to Notre Dame then? So Carolina was number one, and you had your other options. Notre Dame was not on the list. So what happened?
What happened was we had a lot of great players from the area that attended Notre Dame: Bob Whitmore, Sid Catlett, Carlos Jones, Austin Clark,
Mm-hmm.
and Digger just kept plugging at me. Like,
Uh-huh.
why don't you just come out for a visit? I already knew the history of Notre Dame.
Right.
Because when I was young, I watched them play football every Sunday
Yeah.
morning.
Uh-huh.
It was the only thing on TV.
Right. Uh-huh.
And I knew the history of it. So he said, why don't you just come out one day?
Uh-huh.
And came out, and when I started driving down that street, I saw that Golden Dome. I said, I want to go here.
Really? It was that simple?
So it didn't have anything to do with him recruiting me or them being on TV,
Uh-huh.
them being a football school, even though I played basketball. Just I was done. I was ready.
Really?
Once I saw the Golden Dome.
Over the Carolina Blue, over the Terps.
Well, I was thinking about going to Carolina, but they had one thing that I didn't like.
What's that?
They had four corners.
Oh, Dean Smith and that infamous four corner, slow the ball down,
So
pass the ball around.
I said, why should I stay in the corner for 9 minutes? If I can get like 12 points in that time. So I didn't want to go there. But very close friend. I ended up playing for him in the Olympics.
Right.
So, but I chose not to go to North Carolina.
Okay. All right. How was the Olympic experience with Dean?
Olympics was a great experience. I thought he might cut me because I didn't attend Notre Dame. I didn't attend North Carolina.
Yeah.
But great coach. Best condition I've ever been in my life.
Really? Okay.
And it was pretty interesting.
Mhm.
We had 15 players, and I think 12 of them were ACC players.
Really?
So, and then the other three, maybe the other four were from different leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Scott May, Quinn Buckner,
Right.
and Ernie Grunfield was on that team also.
Okay. Okay.
So it was just us four. Then the other 11 was ACC players.
Wow. Okay. Now you also mentioned that you were considering Indiana. Now Bobby Knight, we knew his reputation when he coached. Did that factor in at all about how he was a hothead, had a big temper? Did any of that factor in, or not really?
No, it didn't bother me. I knew the history. When I was, I knew all about.
But yeah, right.
Raids and so
Yeah.
forth, so that didn't bother me at all. That didn't bother me at all.
Okay.
I remember when he came to visit me. I said, "Mom, Bobby Knight, he's coming in here now. He's a different kind of guy. He's crazy." Right? So he ended up visiting.
Uh-huh.
And when he left, my mother said, "You must be lying on this guy. He's a great guy. He's a
Really?
I said, "Well, that's what's going to happen when they recruit you." But
Right.
I ended up not going there.
Mm-hmm.
My first scholarship was from Army when Bobby Knight was a coach at Army.
Really? Okay.
He used to always come to DeMatha,
Uh-huh.
and I used to demonstrate his clinics,
Uh-huh.
taking charges, diving for loose balls. So
Okay.
that's why I knew about him. I knew about him way back when I was
Right.
in ninth grade.
Okay. But he wasn't temperamental back then, like at least when he was running the clinics, right?
No,
At the Army. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So look. So Olympics to college. You had a good college experience at Notre Dame. You had some success at Notre Dame. So now let's talk about the NBA, getting drafted into the NBA. Let's talk about that whole experience for you.
Well, back then it was different than it
Mhm.
is now. When you got drafted, you waited, in your living room or whatever, waiting for the phone call.
Right.
You're going to sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
My mother made me go back to school.
Okay.
I ended up being drafted into my junior year. I left school a year early.
Right.
I ended up being drafted at the same position. I was
Okay.
drafted number 6.
Okay.
There were 5 other ball players that were drafted ahead of me.
You remember? Do you remember any of them?
I remember all of them.
Okay.
Well, number 1 was John Lucas. Who was
Yep.
from
John Lucas. Yeah.
And when I was at the Mather, John Lucas, they recruited me, and I said, "Look, it's no sense for me coming here, man. It's not enough balls."
Right. Right. You got to get your own shine.
And another school I was
Okay.
interested in going to, I forgot to mention, was North Carolina State.
Okay.
So when David Thompson was a sophomore,
Uh-huh.
I was a senior at the Mather,
Okay.
and he wanted me to come to North Carolina State, but I didn't go.
Right.
So every time I see him,
Uh-huh.
when I was a sophomore at Notre Dame, I was a first-team All-American.
Okay.
He's a first-team All-American
Uh,
as a senior
Okay.
at North Carolina State.
Uh-huh.
There's nowhere in the world we both would have been
Right.
first-team All-American. There's nowhere I would have been a
Right.
first-team All-American. if I'd have gone to
Not
North
enough
Carolina
basketballs,
State.
right? Not enough basketballs. Not enough basketballs. All right. So you get drafted. Utah.
No, I got drafted by Buffalo Braves.
Buffalo Braves. Now,
LA Clippers.
right. LA Clippers. All right. So did you suit up for them? Or did you just end up at Utah? How did that go?
No. I went to Buffalo, got drafted,
Mm-hmm.
started, was rookie of the year.
Okay.
My first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had some rough experiences,
Mm-hmm.
crazy trades.
Uh-huh.
Most people remember me when I was at Utah.
Yeah.
So I was at Utah for 8 years.
Right. You were Daryl Griffith, right?
Darryl Griffin was like 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
And pretty good player.
Uh-huh.
So we had a little bit of success.
Okay.
At Utah.
All right. What do you remember about the city of Buffalo from back then? I know it was cold because it's always cold. Is that that's all you remember?
Very cold.
Very-
When you're a young guy coming into the league, you don't really care about
Really?
the weather. It didn't bother me. I just wanted to play. I mean, your first year, you're excited.
Right.
So,
Okay.
the weather didn't bother me at all.
Okay. All right. And then you said the next stop, well, or one of the next stops was Utah. How was that for you? What was that experience like? Because you're past being here in the D.C. area because you went to Notre Dame for 3 years.
Well, Utah was part of. I was like part of family there.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't bother me. Most of the, African American basketball players that went to Utah, they really didn't like it.
Okay.
It didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Had a great 8 years there.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the people there. Didn't get along with the coach. We had a little difference of opinion.
Uh-huh.
I held out 1 year. And
Okay.
we never got over it. So
Really?
then that's when he traded me to Detroit.
Okay. You went to Detroit, and then it was almost like as if, because back when I was coming up watching the basketball, Utah wasn't on TV a lot. But we used to see you in Sports Illustrated back in the old days, in my old days. All right, so you get to Detroit, and it was like, who is this dude?
Well, Detroit,
He was amazing.
Detroit was. They had some great players there, but they were young.
Yeah.
They couldn't get over.
Right.
Just couldn't get over that top.
Right. They couldn't get past Boston at the time. Yeah.
So they brought me in. I was the older guy.
Uh-huh.
And we had some success.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we really was going to have some success, that's when I got traded.
Right.
Controversial.
Yeah. All right. So so when you first got there, though, when you did get them over the top, you got them past Boston. But I got to tell you, what I remember, 2 things I remember about you when you played for Detroit during that time period: the socks, the long white socks, which was in vogue, and the move. That move where you would cradle the ball and back people down. How did you develop that? Because you're not a small guy, but by NBA standards, you weren't the biggest guy. But you took on some big guys with that move, backing people down.
Well, that was just the system that we ran in Detroit. I really didn't back down that much when I was at Utah.
Uh-huh.
The team I was facing up.
Okay.
But the key was, the strategy was I was supposed to draw a double team.
Okay.
So guys can get open shot. But I developed the backing in, Earl Monroe, watching him
Right.
back people down.
Uh-huh.
Big O, backing people down, shooting over top of them. So it was a skill that it was something that I developed.
Mm-hmm.
Also in high school, in college, even though I was 6'5",
Mm-hmm.
we had guys at 6'10", 6'11". I was the best inside player.
Yeah.
Coaches always had me play inside. I didn't
Right.
like it,
Uh-huh.
but that's what they did.
Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the controversy, because you didn't win that for first year, second year in Detroit, first year.
But we got to the semifinals.
Got to the semifinals.
We had Boston 1 year. We had Boston on the ropes.
Right.
That's when I dove for a loose ball.
Right.
Had a We
Right.
lost that series.
Mm-hmm.
Then we came back the following series. That's when
Right.
we took Boston.
Right. So then the controversy. Talk about the controversy because you eventually got traded from Detroit. It was a good fit. It was a good look. You got traded. Isaiah Thomas wanted his boy to come over there, Mark Aguirre. Look at your face. I don't want to dig all that up, but give me go.
It's funny. It's been over 30 years,
Uh-huh.
34 years, and I can be in the airport and somebody say, "Man, that was messed up what they did."
That was pretty messed up though.
So it's amazing how people still remember.
Right.
But basically, we didn't get along. That's
Right.
the bottom line.
You and Isaiah didn't get along. Never got along the whole time you were there.
Well, we didn't get along.
Okay.
So the bottom line was, I got traded.
Mm-hmm.
He ran the team.
Right.
He will deny it, but
Right,
he ran
right.
the team.
Uh-huh.
And it's just a coincidence that he brought his best friend there.
Yeah,
So
Mark Aguirre.
They ended up playing together. And
Yeah.
Ended up getting traded.
Right. Now, is it true that after they won, they did win a championship? I think they won back to back. But did they send you a ring, or is that true, or is that a rumor?
No, they kept saying it, but I wouldn't.
No, you like, I didn't earn that. I want that, right? Okay. Were you? I mean, you didn't get along with him anyway. So was there any?
I wouldn't say I didn't get along with him, but I was professional when I was
Right.
a basketball coach.
Uh-huh.
If he was open, I passed him the ball.
Right.
It wasn't that
Yeah.
petty, but I just, that's just
Right.
the way it is.
Is there? I know it's a long time ago. Any bitterness or any hostility? I don't know if you've even seen him since then.
I
None of
talked
that.
to him when I've seen him a couple times.
You have talked to him or have not?
I have not.
Oh, you have not talked to him. Okay. All right.
I saw him one time in the Hall of Fame, just nodded at him.
Okay.
That thing.
Right.
No, I don't have. Bottom line, he don't like me. I don't like him.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So what after Detroit, you got traded. You got traded to Dallas for Mark Aguirre. How was that?
Well, at that time, I didn't really feel like playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I played, but I wasn't in it.
Right.
Didn't have the spirit.
Right.
And ended up playing there and just phased out.
Right.
Went to Europe a couple years, and that was the end of my career.
Mm-hmm. European basketball is popular now, but was it popular then when you went over there? Was it? It's a different style of basketball. We know that.
Well, most players, when they play the NBA, most of them, like they go to Europe for 2 years.
Yeah.
Play. Some guys like McAdoo went over there and played. Like,
Right.
I don't know for a long time.
Right.
And,
You're talking about Bob McAdoo,
Bob McAdoo.
who played with the Braves. Did he play with you with the Braves?
Played with the Rams. Yeah.
Okay. And then he eventually played with the Lakers.
All right.
All right. Okay.
I played with McAdoo my rookie year,
Okay.
and he was his 5th or 6th year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reason why I like him is because when you're a rookie,
Uh huh.
you're supposed to do everything for the veterans.
Right.
Like,
They treat you pretty bad, huh?
go to Dunkin' Donuts. Give me some donuts. Go to McDonald's.
Even back then, they were dogging you, huh?
They didn't dog me. I can remember when veterans used to tell me, hey, Rook, do this, or when you go to the airport, you're supposed to take all the bags.
Right.
Veterans, I said, no, I'm not doing that.
Uh huh.
I'm not doing that.
And what happened? They did nothing.
They didn't say. I said, I'll tell you what. Let's play 1-on-1.
Uh huh.
If you beat me, I'll get your bags. If I beat you, you get my bags. So, case.
And you didn't have to carry any bags. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So life after basketball. Where'd you go from there after? So basketball is done. No more Europe. No more NBA. What happened next with Adrian Dantley?
I've been kind of taking it easy.
Uh-huh.
I coached at Townsend State.
Okay.
Coach wanted me over there for about 4 or 5 years, and I worked out players on
Mhm.
a regular basis.
Mhm.
Then I ended up going to Denver. I coached at Denver. I was assistant coach at
Okay.
Denver Nuggets for 8 years.
Uh huh. Good experience being on the bench, or was it hard dealing with today? Well, what was today's
It's a good
players in?
experience, but it's different players.
Right. Right. Different era.
A lot of people on the outside don't have a clue what's it like
Mm-hmm.
on the inside on the NBA team.
Right.
Like when I hear interviews, I hear people talk. Hey, coach got to really get on the guy.
Yeah.
It's
That-
not like that. In the
No.
NBA.
No, because they're all adults.
You got to get along with the guy, or you might be gone.
It's that simple, huh? It's not like dealing with kids.
It's a lot of that. It's a lot,
Really?
You got to get along with the guy.
Uh huh.
If you try to be hard, and when I hear people say you got to be hard on the guys, you got to be tough, you got to, curse them out,
It's not happening.
you'll be out quick.
You're out the door. You're out the door.
You got a few teams.
Right.
Popovich.
Yeah. Well, he's
But overall,
yeah.
the majority of them,
Yeah.
you can't act the way people want you to act.
Right.
When you hear them talking about, get on. Coach got to get on the players.
Right.
It's different era now.
Right. What about in college? Is it that way in college too, or is it
No,
college you can do it?
coaches,
You can do whatever.
players.
Okay, gotcha. But when it comes to the grown dudes, you can't do that.
No.
Can't do that at all. All right. So life after bat. So you're done coaching, and you're doing your thing. You got your family after that, or during that time period. How many kids?
I got one boy and two girls.
One boy, two girls. Are they basketball players?
No, they're not basketball players. I don't know. My boy played football, but the girls, I guess I was too hard at them. They didn't like to run. You got to run if you play basketball.
Is that right?
Yeah, I hate running. I hate running, but I still run.
Because you got to play basketball. So, because a lot of times when people have kids and they have some success in any sport, and they try to direct the kids don't want to hear from the parents.
Well, I never forced my kids to play any ball. I wanted to them
Right.
to play, but I never forced them. So that's something that you have to want. The kid has to want it
Right.
more than the parent.
Right.
A lot of parents who want their kids.
I know. Trust me, I know all about that.
Players and,
Yeah.
And I have a lot of good friends. They always used to say, "My son this, my son can do this." I used to tell them, "Hey, every parent think their son is the best player."
Yeah. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? And then you go out here and you watch some of them play, and you're like, "Are you sure? Is that the guy? Is that the kid you were talking about?" But does it amaze you though that when you're looking at today's athletes and today's kids, the way that the parents are responding, whether it's my son or my daughter is the greatest, or why isn't my son playing, or this coach stinks because my son didn't have it his way, and then I got to go find another team. Are you surprised by all of that?
No, I'm not surprised, but you see that all the time.
Mhm.
It's amazing how many players they go to different high schools.
Yeah.
And like last night, I was officiating the game.
Uh-huh.
My parents say, "Hey, my son is real good. You missed that call. He might get hurt. You might mess his career up if you don't make that call." So everybody think their son
Mm-hmm.
is going to be the best,
Right.
or going to be one of the best.
Yeah. What kind of advice would you give to parents who are, I don't know, all into sports and think that some of them might think this is the way out of or their meal ticket, if you will?
There's nothing wrong with that, but the way it is today, I
Mm.
would tell every parent, "Hey, focus on your education."
Yeah.
Because something can happen to you if you're not educated. It's going to be difficult for the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So have that good balance between the two, and just see what happens.
Yeah. Focus on education. What else does Adrian Dantley do when you're not chilling, you're not reffing and officiating games?
One thing I'm doing, I'm a crossing guard.
A crossing guard.
I'm a crossing guard.
So you're still dealing with kids
Oh,
or young people?
I know all the kids in the area. I've
Okay.
been doing it for about 6 years now.
Uh-huh.
I have fun doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been quite an experience. Working with the kids, seeing the kids.
Do they listen to you, Adrian? Do they listen?
They listen to me. A lot of times I see them when they in the mornings. They might be eating potato chips. I say, you eating that for breakfast? You soda? So, always, stress to them.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good diet.
Right.
Very important. And I enjoy it.
Right.
Enjoy doing it.
Do they know who you are?
They know who I am.
They
The
do.
parents knew who I
Oh, the
was.
parents, and then they tell them.
First year they didn't.
Uh-huh. Right.
First year they didn't know who I was when I visited all the schools.
Yeah.
But the parents knew, and then
They would tell them.
look it up.
Right.
YouTube
Or Google it on the phone. Yeah, yeah. What is the craziest thing? I don't know, or strangest thing a little kid or a young kid has said to you once they found out who you were?
Why am I doing this?
Is that right? What'd you tell them?
I said, I like being around you guys. I don't want to just stay home, retired. But I hear funny things from people being a crossing guard. I always tell a story like this. I remember I was working at this one job, and this guy came by me. Well, a whole lot of stories.
Mhm.
But I'll
Right.
just give you one.
Uh-huh.
And he saw me as a crossing guard, and he walked by and he said, "You didn't think you'd be in this position, did you?" I started cracking up.
Oh, is that right?
I hear those kind of, "Why you doing this?"
Right.
Why you doing this? You must be broke. So
Yeah, of course, that's what they're
the
assuming.
number one thing.
Right. They're assuming that
If I
you.
was broke, I wouldn't be a crossing guard.
Right, right. Yeah, they're assuming that because you're out here doing a job that you don't have any money, that you went through all your money. But I'm assuming, like you said, it is still fun for you because you're still doing it. How long? 5 years, 5 or 6 years you've been doing?
Doing it for 6 years. now.
Right, right. And you're at all different places, or you're at the same
I'm a
school?
sub. I might
A
be
sub.
at different schools.
Yeah.
I'm close to the house.
Got you.
So I enjoy doing it. I'll do it until I die.
Okay.
I enjoy doing
Right, because you just don't want to sit around.
No, that's
Yeah,
what I mean.
I understand. So do you play a little basketball as well?
Play basketball all the time.
Okay. You still got it?
Still got it.
You still serving them?
Still serving. I like to go to playgrounds when they don't know me.
Oh, is that right?
Then I serve them.
So you're
Then somebody say, "You know who that is?"
right. Wait, so you're going to the playgrounds where young people are?
I play around with playgrounds. Yeah, I go.
Really?
If I'm riding around,
Yeah.
I might go and shoot.
Okay. All right, because I don't mess with the young crowd anymore. Yeah, my body
All
can't.
these young guys can do is dunk.
Well, yeah,
They can't shoot.
they can talk too.
Yeah,
They talk a lot,
they dribble the ball a lot.
and they dribble the ball a lot, and they're not passing. They definitely not passing. When I go to the gym and I play with my guys, we end up playing against